Good morning, everyone. We are here to present our thesis entitled of Development of Concrete Hollow Blocks from Gold Mine Tailings of Belsaga Mining Corporation and Polypropylene Materials. These are the outline of our presentation. First is introduction, objectives of study, methodology, result and discussion, conclusion, and recommendation. A vast amount of gold mine tailings is produced each day by the gold mining companies and small-scale mining. This kind of mining waste is the number one problem and must be properly managed. One of the major problems confronting the mining industry is pollution. The mining industry concerned are the tailings disposal through environmental friendly and sustainable disposal method. The utilization of gold mine tailings and using it as a component to produce valuable products to help the company nearby the mining company will be a great factor to ease the pollution and gain profit from waste. The use of this tailing is the best option in ensuring sustainable handling in the tailings. Plastic cups are usually used in the parties and even in small businesses here in the Philippines where it is disposable. Philippine government data shows the typical composition of waste streams in most local government units in the country. However, the recycling of polypropylene is much lower than its usage, and this gap of the dramatically increasing, forcing to innovate methods for the high recycling of these materials. Among plastic, the polypropylene is easily the most popular plastic packaging materials in the world. Only around 1% is recycled, which means the polypropylene plastic is headed for the landfill. This type of plastic has a severe environmental issue because of its toxic additives such as lead and cadmium. On the other hand, development of hollow blocks can help the nearby community that surrounds mining areas to produce profits from the waste of the mine. It is not only to find solutions to solid waste problems and mine tailings, but also to discover an innovative technology in hollow block making, which is economical, a better composite materials to meet higher works efficiency, as well as building infrastructure as long-lasting value. Furthermore, it promotes the use of gold mine tailings and plastic caps in making concrete hollow blocks, which is cheaper compared to the synthetic and commercial manufactured materials. Objective of the study. First is produce sample of the hollow blocks composed of gold mine tailings reinforced with shredded polypropylene materials and compare its properties to the commercialized hollow block. Next is determine the effects of varying ratio of gold mine tailings and shredded plastic cups with the curing days on the slump test in the hollow blocks. Next, determine the water absorbency of the sample of different treatments. Determine the effects of varying ratio of gold mine tailings and shredded plastic cups with the curing days on the compressive strength of the hollow blocks. Lastly, determine the economic difference between developed and commercial hollow blocks. A series of hollow block samples were prepared, each with a different ratio and combination of gold mine tailings and polypropylene fibers. The collected gold mine tailings were air dried and saved to achieve the desired size and to separate the silt and clay size in the tailings. Hollow block samples were prepared using the water to cement to sand ratio of 0.5:1:7 using Portland cement. Then the mixture of the sample was done manually with a hollow blocks molding before the samples underwent molding. All the samples were tested for their workability by a slump test to measure its slump value. And after the 7 days curing period, this hollow block sample underwent water absorbency test to determine its moisture content in each sample with a different ratio of gold mine tailings. After that, all samples with 3 trials were tested by compressive strength. So this is the the method of our study. First is collecting and preparation of minerals, where we're going to prepare the tailings, the polypropylene plastic, the Portland cement, and sand and water. Next is production of desired output. So first is proportioning, mixing, molding, and curing. Next is testing method, where has three tests. First is slump test, water absorbency test, compressive strength test, and lastly, final output is the hollow blocks. So this is the hollow block sample proportion. As you can see, mixture where we have a control mix and three samples with mix one, mix two, mix three with different percent, and with a constant water, uh, and cement, and different tailings. In mix 1 with 10% has 0.7, in mix 2 1.4, in mix 3 is 2.1. Sand in mix 1 is 6.3, mix 2 is 5.6, mix 3 is 4.9. In polypropylene fibers, we have a size that 12.7 millimeters. Result and discussion. Slump test is one of the most important factors in making concrete mixture that will determine the workability and the exact amount of water needed to the sample. The different measure of the slump test were differentiated and for which concrete is usable. For the hollow blocks product, the workability of mixture should be in low category with 25 to 50 millimeters in slump with zero point 0.5 compacting factors. So this is the table of slump test result. Next is water absorption. Porosity is one of the factors that affects the durability of the concrete products. One way to test the said factor is water absorbency test. Porosity is the ratio of void space in a material. The void space of products makes the water to penetrate and makes the production weak. So this is the result of water absorption for hollow blocks. Next is the compressive test result. According to ARG Construction Material Testing Center, the accepted compressive strength is approximately 500 psi. From the experimental results, the commercial concrete hollow blocks obtained the average of 161.52 psi or 1.11 MPa. The experimental hollow blocks mix 1 with 10% tailings and 0.5 polypropylene plastic obtained the average of 1057.25 psi or 7.29 MPa. The experimental hollow block mix 2 with 20% mine tanks and 0.5 polypropylene plastic result the average of 102.75 psi or 5.54 MPa. Lastly, the experimental hollow blocks mix 3 with 30% tailings and 0.5 polypropylene plastic resulting the average of 744.97 psi or 5.14 MPa. So this is the result of compressive strength test. Next is the economic consideration. The total cost will be more or less if the cement used is purchased per sack. The price of one sack of cement is 250 pesos and also sold per kilo wherein price of 15 pesos per kilo. For the three hollow blocks, half kilo of cement will be consumed. There is a significant difference in terms of expenses between the commercial hollow blocks and the hollow blocks produced from gold mine tailings and polypropylene materials. So this is the comparison for economics consideration. Conclusion. Gold mine tailings from Persaga Mining Corporation have potential in making hollow blocks. Based on the experimental and testing method that the researcher conducted, the measured slump test of the commercial hollow blocks mixture was closely to the mix 1 with 10% gold mine tailings. The number of polypropylene fibers in the sample have a great effects the hardness and voids of the desired output. The following conclusions are based on the gathered data obtained from the result of the test and are summarized as follows. First is, gold mine tailings can be used as additive and replacement to sand in making commercial hollow blocks. The percent of the polypropylene fibers in mixture 3 increase the compressive strength of the hollow blocks. Next is the higher of the percent of gold mine tailings in mixture, compressive strength is decreased and the mixture slump test result to shear slump. Next is the 3 mixture resulted to a better appearance and less void compared to the commercial hollow blocks. Based on the all raw material expenses, it is economical to produce gold mine tailings which waste plastic cups or polypropylene plastic. Sand and cement were gold mine tailings and plastic cups are waste materials that were just added to standard raw materials mixing proportion of hollow block. A commercial hollow block costs 13 pesos in the market while the developed hollow blocks will only cost 6 pesos if mixed 3 or 30% gold mine tailings is used. Recommendation. The following are the recommendations to researchers who would like to continue and conduct the same or related experiment. First, use mechanical molding in making hollow blocks for less human errors and less voids in sample. Second, add other ratio of gold mine tailings and the percent of polypropylene to increase the justification of the result. Third, add textural strength or other parameters in testing the dependent variables. Next is try other source of reinforcement like face mask and make it a fiber to be an alternative reinforcement. That's all. Thank you.